Greetings everyone, and welcome to my channel. I'm your host, Captain Ryan. Today's video is me back again, once again, in my new favorite Tier 10 destroyer, the Yu Yang. As the battle gets underway, it's mountain range, it's domination match mode, and I've spawned closest to the A cap point, so the A cap point is where I've gone. Now it is a Tier 10 battle, but something you might notice here is there's not a plethora of destroyers at this point. A very, very limited number, only 2 per team. Now the enemy team has a Shimakaze, and they have a Z-23. This is going to be good for me because I can deal with both of those destroyers, provided something with radar doesn't come up and cause me problems. And there are a good number of radar ships there. There's a Moskva and a Missouri both in the background. And I do stand corrected, it's a Z-46 that they have on their team, so Tier 9 destroyer. Now, the enemy team has already taken first blood here. They've taken out our friendly destroyer, so that just leaves me on the team. If they can kill me, they can cause a significant problem for my team, while simultaneously cementing their position with a destroyer advantage. And then the Z-23 can really just go about and do what it needs to do. As long as I'm here, however, that Z-46 is going to have a problem. Now the enemy team is in the process of capturing B, and because they managed to kill our friendly destroyer who was preventing them from capturing it, it does mean that they are going to be able to take it before I'm able to get the A cap point. Now I am being detected here, and this is a little bit worrisome because I don't know where that Z-46 went. Shots coming in there, and then I'm not detected. Now, because I dropped off detectability there, that either tells me that that 46 has gone a little bit further away from me, and he was the one detecting me, or potentially one of the radar vessels was doing it. Either way, put torpedoes out down towards that channel, and that's going to prove to be a good decision here. If you look at the mini-map, there's an Otago that popped up just on the edge of that island, just right behind it. So those torpedoes that I fired off that direction will hopefully connect with him. And there's the Otago. He's popped up. He's come around the island. You can see now I'm targeting him. He's slamming on the brakes. You watch that lead indicator drop down, 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 down. And he's going to try and reverse back around that island because he's come out from behind that island, and look at the friendly teammates I've got behind me. That's not a good position for him to be in. But because I preemptively fired off those torpedoes, hoping that I might catch somebody, well, that's going to be good for me because look at this. I'm going to connect 2 on him, front and back there. And both are going to cause flooding. That's going to suck for him, but it is an Otago. He can recover some of that health, and he's immediately hit his R key, and it looks like he's also immediately gone and started repairing. But it's going to take him a little bit to get his ship reversed, and second set of torpedoes is going to meet him and finish him off. So there's my team's first kill of the game, and it goes to me. Now looking at the situation, the enemy team has the C and B cap points, so they've got 2 cap points. They are currently up on points as a result. I really do need to get up here into the B cap point and start contesting it, if not capping it. In the meantime, though, there's a lot of battleships in the back there. Now, that Moskva is a dangerous ship for me. I would really like that Moskva dead. And there's a lot of ships back behind the B cap point on my team that are basically doing the same thing that the enemy's doing. Look at this. They've got themselves a nice Charlie Foxtrot going on back here. They're all clustered up. Not as tightly clustered as my team is, but they are a good torpedo-rich environment for me. Now, if I was in a Shimakaze, it would be even better, especially if they were as tightly clustered as my team is. Now, remember, the enemy team still has their destroyers, and they have a Shimakaze, and that Shimakaze, well, we're going to run into him any moment now. In the meantime, I'm just kind of looking for targets to hit. It's a shooter's choice there, and that's when the Shimakaze pops up there. Now, given his position, and you know he's been harassing my team with torpedoes, do connect a torpedo on something back out there, getting my guns off, popped a smoke screen, shots out at the Shimakaze, and finish him off. So there's another kill for me. The Shima is gonna be dead, and with the Shimakaze dead, I can now freely cap the B cap point. Sort of. Remember, there's still that Z46, and that Z46, well, he couldn't directly take me. He can cause me problems between his hydroacoustic search and all of the backup that he's got behind him could cause me a problem. Now, Cap has stopped counting. That tells me exactly what's in the cap with me. Unlike other destroyer captains that I see do this way, way too often, I'm not going to sit in my smoke screen and hope that he goes away. Remember, this is the enemy destroyer. It's a Z46. It has hydroacoustic. It might not be nearly as good as this V52, but if I'm sitting on my smoke screen and nobody's detecting him, he can just get right up onto that smoke screen as close as he wants and start unloading into me. He can also start torpedoing that smoke screen. So there's the 46 there. Would really like him to die. I have him flagged. I've told my teammates, kill this guy. They aren't going to shoot at him. I have to turn away because I can no longer risk being detected. That Kurfürst in the background, his secondary is coming in there. Really, really annoying. So he's definitely got me flagged. And those shots could have royally wrecked me even at these kinds of ranges. Now I'm just going to continue to sit back here and prevent the enemy destroyer from pushing up towards our battleships, but also, hopefully, to provide torpedo warning. And that's exactly what I've done here. So, torpedo warning for the friendly battleships behind me, but whether or not they're actually paying attention, it's hard to tell. I mean, again, look at the minimap. They're basically all clustered up in one spot, and neither of them is moving. Also, if you look at the minimap, you'll notice that we have a ZOW that's kind of off to the side there. That ZOW is actually trying to engage the enemy Hindenburg. And he's going to do a pretty good job of it, but he's asked for help in the chat, and nobody, not one of these damn battleships, is actually doing anything about it. They're more focused on clustering in the back and trying to snipe than they are anything else. Once again, spotted as I push up towards the B cap point. Again, the Z46. I slam on my brakes, I pop my smoke screen because, again, that Kurfürst secondary is really, really causing me some problems there. Now, I drop off detectability. This is good for me. But, again, nothing I can do to stay here because it's a Z46. He's got to have his hydro. If he's not spotting my torpedoes, there's a strong possibility that he could just turn around, push up, and come and cause me problems. And I absolutely do not want this to be the case. So, backing off, getting myself some distance, and with any luck, I can turn around and get myself pushed up into the B cap point, and once again, put some pressure on that location. Both teams are relatively equal at this moment in time. 4 ships lost. However, the enemy team has killed more battleships, so they are going to have more points there. And, of course, they've had 2 caps for so long. So again, they're still up on points. They're over 100 points ahead of us. Enemy Missouri is bow tanking, or trying to bow tank off in the distance there. I'm trying to get torpedoes on him, but it's just not working out that well. Once again, enemy Z46 spots me here, but look at this. He's reversing into the cap here. So I open up with guns here. Don't have my smoke screen available just yet. So this is kind of shitty for both of us, because I know both of us don't have our smoke screen. So I turn away hard. I'm going to stop firing, and I'm going to hopefully drop off detectability. Again, because that Kurfürst secondaries out there are just laying into me. Not hitting me at this kind of range, fortunately, but causing me some problems. Still being detected. I'm actually surprised the Z46 dropped off before me, but I guess he did stop firing just ever so slightly before me. The enemy team has managed to take out yet another one of our ships, so they are definitely in the lead here. This is not going the way I wanted to. Now, going back to that Charlie Foxtrot of battleships that have been back behind the B cap point, if those ships, based on the enemy's behavior, had pushed up into the B cap point with me, we would have had a much better time of it, partly because we would have been able to very, very quickly focus down that destroyer, and because now we're on the offensive and the enemy team, without destroyers, is being pushed back onto the defensive, and they're already back by their base, so we can just push up here, allow me to cap, take the heat off of me, and then once we've capped, can go in and start laying into them. Get more torpedoes off at the various battleships in the distance there. I think both of those sets are en route towards the Missouri. Once again, that Missouri, he's bow tanking, and he's not a fool. In spite of bow tanking, constantly back and forthing with reversing, he is at the very least paying attention to incoming torpedoes, and he's actually managed to dodge most of my torpedoes here. Now my torpedoes have 40 more seconds here, and I'm looking at a situation. There's a couple of ships back behind the A cap point that could be a serious threat, but we do have at least one ship down there. That's the Tirpitz. Speaking of serious threats, there's the Z-46. I pop my smoke screen, he pops his smoke screen. I land a hit on him, not enough to kill him outright there, but given his position, I decide I'm going to go ahead and pull forward. And I want to pull forward here because I don't need his hydroacoustic to come after me, and this will give me just a little bit more breathing room while I put myself into a better position. Torpedoes coming in here, started reversing to go broadside to get turned around, and then decided to stop, but it wouldn't have mattered anyway, as that Z-46 is given a wide spread. Friendly Tirpitz there finishes off the Des Moines. This is excellent for my team, because that's a radar cruiser. It's a very dangerous radar cruiser for me, but that Tirpitz is very, very low health, and he's basically going head-to-head against another battleship. And that, well, that's not going to go well for him. Now, I would have torpedoed that direction, but because that friendly Tirpitz was down there, I opted not to. And because I opted not to, the inevitable happened there. But at the very least, I didn't cause him any team damage, and I didn't get a team kill. More torpedoes out at that Missouri. This time a very, very wide spread. I mean, they're both narrow spreads. They're just spread over a wider launch section. In the meantime, I've left my smoke screen. I've got 20 seconds before it's available again, so I know I have it if I need it. And now I'm just kind of probing around the cap. I'm looking for that Z-46 because I know he's low health, and he's basically lost half of his backup here. So he was backing up into the cap. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to try and get shots off there. He's firing back at me. That's fine. I've got the health to deal with this. He does not. Managed to set him on fire, and I finish him off with that fire. So he's dead. Pop my smoke screen, slam on my brakes to get into it, as more shots from the Kurfürst and the Moskva both coming in there. Now, I did manage to hit the Moskva with a torpedo there, which actually kind of makes me really, really happy, because that means he's going to be fairly low health. And you can see there, he's off in the distance, but technically I think I'm still just inside his torpedo range, which wouldn't be good for me. Now, with that 46 dead, I'm the only destroyer left in the game, and this frees me up to do so much. It frees me up at this point to go wherever I need to go and cap whatever I need to cap. The enemy team is still ahead by 100 points here, but you can see there, Arzau has finally managed to take that enemy Hindenburg out, who was isolated up by the C cap point, and so hopefully he can get into the C cap point and start capping. The Zau can be a sneaky ship as long as it doesn't fire its guns. And with all the islands in the way, with any luck, the enemy team will not focus him down, so he can, in fact, get up into the C cap point and cap it. In the meantime, we've managed to capture the B cap point just in the nick of time, as the enemy Iowa pushes up into the A cap point, our long-standing cap. So they're still going to have a points advantage here, as my team's not able to gain points any quicker. Now, the remaining battleships back behind here, there were a lot more of them than there are now, because again, they've been playing very passively here, so they've been just back there trying to bow tank, and you know, that works to some respect, but eventually you're going to get some smart battleship players and smart cruiser players who are just going to spam high explosive at you and burn you down, and the enemy has a Monarch on their team. It's a British battleship. What are British battleships known for? Yep, that's right, spamming high explosive. Even though technically the Monarch's guns are decent enough, they could use the armor piercing and actually do okay with it. Now, I'm still kind of holding out here in the B cap point, partly because that Missouri is pushing up, and partly because there's a Kurfürst as well. As much as I'd love to get torpedoes on both of them, I've still got 10 more seconds before I can launch off a set here. The Missouri's finally dead, so that radar threat out of the way, I'm free to move about. Now, the enemy team has just 3 battleships left and no radar, but they still have the hydroacoustic on that Kurfürst. So I fire off a set of torpedoes at that Kurfürst. I short him because I kind of think he's going to maybe turn in a little bit. Now, I'm going to try and push up around this island and get a set of torpedoes off of that Monarch. Plus, I want to put this island between myself and that Kurfürst if he decides to use his hydroacoustic. But as I push up here, I realize I've put myself in a very precarious situation as I'm sandwiched between 2 battleships, both of which are closing into detection range here, and I do get spotted by the Monarch. Now, that Monarch is firing armor piercing, and fortunately for me, he'd already targeted somebody else. But there's the Kurfürst's hydroacoustic detecting me. This is bad for me because the Iowa is shooting at me and the Monarch. Now, I pull forward here to try and get a little distance, run myself aground because it panicked a little bit there. But fortunately for me, the Kurfürst is dead, and with the Kurfürst dead, I'm no longer being detected. But I still have this Monarch closing in, and I've got 40 seconds until torpedoes. I hit that Monarch, I set him on fire, I've flooded him, but he's put it out, and he's recovering some health. So now I'm just trying to get more shots on him, hopefully set him on fire again, which would be wonderful. But I'm going to stop here because he's closed into 3 kilometers, and if I fire my guns, he is going to spot me. Now I've got 20 more seconds, all I have to do is wait here, but we're going to see something. This Monarch is running the acquisition module because he spots me closer than he should. My detection range in smoke should be 2 kilometers, but he spots me at 3. Fortunately for me, North Carolina, who's been sitting in the back this whole time, for the win, comes in. He saves my ass, saves my bacon here, so that I'm not forced into a situation where it's a suicide run there. So thank you for that, North Carolina. If you're watching this video, you saved my bacon on that one. Now, I'm going to stay back behind this island just a little bit longer because there was that Iowa out there, and as I leave my smoke screen, as the smoke screen dissipates, my detection range is inside of where he's at. So fortunately for me, though, he's running to the other side of the island. So I'm going to give myself a little bit of berth here around that island. And now I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to push to the A cap point. Now that Iowa is low health. He's got a North Carolina, but the North Carolina is not in the best position, partly because his backup here is a Zhao, and the Zhao is back behind. Now, the Zhao could rain high explosive down on that Iowa and cause that Iowa some problems. That Iowa really does need to choose his targets here. North Carolina, fairly low health, and given that he's got an island in the way, very limited in where he can go. But that Iowa is not playing intelligently here. He's broadside on to the rear guns of our North Carolina. So our North Carolina can cause some problems. I get some torpedoes off out through that channel because, well, North Carolina's running forward, and that Iowa has just turned forward as well. But because the Iowa is preoccupied and I'm well outside of his secondary range, I'm just going to go ahead and open up with guns. Not something I would normally do, but given that there's 30 seconds left in the game, it's very unlikely that Iowa is going to be able to finish off our North Carolina and our Zhao or myself to win at this point. Managed to set that Iowa on fire, and that's going to be enough to secure my 4th kill in the game and finish the game out just before the clock runs out. 133,000 damage done in that game, 8 torpedo hits, 4 kills, 1 base capture. Because I decided to go after the Iowa, didn't secure the A cap point. A little bit disappointed by that. Don't think I managed to secure the B cap point, although it seems kind of weird. Top of the team for XP earned there, 2,400 base XP. The Zhao on the team did a very good job as well at 2,400 exactly base XP. And with the exception of our kid, the first guy dead in the game, everyone on the team earned 1,000 base XP. Anyway, that's it for today's video, folks. If you liked the video, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment down below. If you'd like to get semi-regular channel news and updates, you can do so by liking and following me on Facebook. If you've got a replay like this one that you'd like to see featured on my channel, you can send it to my email. If you'd like to help support me in the channel, you can become my supporter on Patreon. And if you'd like to watch me play various games live, I swear I'll get back to it, you can do so by following me on Twitch. It's just been a very busy new year. As always, you can find the links for all of those in the video description down below. And I'll see you next time. This is Captain Rye, signing off.